hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Superwise. I'm John and I just finished watching The Batman. It's just been a crazy fun nostalgic experience leading up to this movie. I've been extremely optimistic and excited for this movie since day one. I still remember fondly where I was when that first camera test was revealed. Of course, who could forget that amazing first teaser for The Batman? That trailer was super important. It set up the tone and vibe of what we were getting, and it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal trailer. Ever since I saw Pattinson beat that thug mercilessly to the ground, I was like, yeah, this is going to be one of my most anticipated superhero movies ever, because it just looked jaw-dropping. The trailers after that teaser were amazing, looked great, and I'm just incredibly nostalgic because when you look at my channel's early vids, I was constantly covering those Batman set photos. Any little thing that came out, I immediately made a vid on because I was just so hyped up on the Batman. You guys know, if you've been watching my vids, you'd know that my first thought in the morning is the Batman, and my last thought every night is the Batman. I've been super hyped for this. So was the hype warranted? Yes. This movie was everything I knew it was gonna be and more. This is the best definitive Batman movie ever made, and I've had time to think about this. Besides Spider-Man 2, it is my favorite comic book movie of all time. This is not recency bias because I said in my community tab yesterday that I watched Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, arguably the two best Batman films before this, back to back. So I had them fresh in my mind, and walking out of this movie, I confidently said to myself, yep, this is the best Batman film yet. So first off, let's start off with director Matt Reeves. I already liked his films previous to this, but he truly shines here. I mean, this guy is a true director. You guys know I love the MCU, but I'm sorry, this film stylistically, shot-wise, is better than anything the MCU has ever done. I mean, Matt Reeves is just insanely talented and knows how to film shots. It's always interesting and engaging to look at. There's such a beautiful, awesome look and vibe to it. I love it. The Greg Fraser cinematography also shines, of course. This is just one of the best looking comic book movies ever. Every shot has a narrative purpose, and I love that. Michael Giacchino has always been one of my favorite composers, and of course, he's once again the GOAT here. The Batman theme is iconic, Catwoman's theme, Riddler's theme, it's all just great. The action scenes are really, really good here. You know, people on Twitter were like, this movie has better action than the Batfleck warehouse scene. I'm sorry, I adore this movie, but the Batfleck action scene in the warehouse is peak Batman action, for right now at least. This film has really good action. My favorite action set piece was actually towards the end when Batman's fighting the Riddler goons. That was the highest action scene to me. Of course, we can't forget about the Batmobile chase scene. That was so engaging and awesome. Matt Reeves understands the Bat gadgets and the Batmobile. He wanted this thing to feel like Christine, like a living monster, and it did. I just love the whole look and feel to this Gotham. I love seeing the underworld to it. I love how dark and grimy it feels. I mean, Matt Reeves just made a great world. So yes, my brother from another mother, J.G. Shaolin, terrific. Yes, I did love what you were saying. I totally agree with it. This world is dope. And I was totally invested in this story. Matt Reeves took inspiration from the right places. Zodiac, Seven, the French Connection, Chinatown. I could see all of these references and inspirations, and it just melded together beautifully. Okay, let's get to the characters. First off, the titular Batman, Robert Pattinson. He's a phenomenal actor. I knew he was going to crush it, and he's by far my favorite Batman of all time. He just is Batman, the way he walks out of the shadows like a badass, the way he presents himself, the way he talks with his dope Batman voice. He is the Batman for me, and this is just the definitive Batman I've been wanting. First off, we established that he has a no-kill rule. He doesn't want to use guns. He explains why. I also love that this Batman truly is a detective. We see his detective skills. We see how smart he is in certain situations, deducting info from these crime scenes. I loved to see this side of Batman that we haven't really gotten before. I also love that this is a year 2 Batman. He's still learning the ropes. He is vengeful. He is rageful. He is reckless. But by the end of the movie, he realizes that he has to be something more to protect the people of Gotham. He has to be a symbol of hope. I adore that scene where the woman is holding Batman, and Batman comforts her, because he realizes he needs to do that to make the people of Gotham feel safe. That is Batman. That is Batman, a symbol of hope, a darker hero, but one that is, who cares about the people, who cares about what he does. And I love that we were starting to get to see that. I can't really judge his Bruce Wayne yet, because he's not Bruce Wayne, the cocky, well-known billionaire that we all know him to be, that public figure. We didn't really see that. He was very reserved. He was very to himself. He wasn't there yet. But I like that aspect of the story. And Christian Bale was a fantastic Bruce Wayne on rewatch. So it's going to be interesting to see if Robert Pattinson can top that. I'm sure he can. I'm excited to see that side of Bruce Wayne in the sequel. Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman was great. She was everything that she needed to be. She was strong. She was sexy. She was Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer, of course, is still the GOAT, but for the modern day, Zoe Kravitz did a fantastic job. I really liked the relationship between Bruce and Selina. I thought that setup was nice. Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon, he was really good in the role. You know, I liked the casting before, and I especially like the casting now. Gary Oldman is still the GOAT to me, but Jeffrey Wright did a very, very good job. Andy Serkis as Alfred, I really liked him in this movie. One of the couple of issues that I take with this movie, is that I wanted to see more of Alfred, and I wish that we would have explored that relationship more, because Alfred gets blown up. He's in the hospital. And I wish we could have seen more of that father side of Alfred. I wish we could have seen Bruce caring more about Alfred, so the impact would be bigger for me. But still, when Alfred reached out his hand to Bruce and they held hands, that was a great moment. I really love that. Colin Farrell as Penguin was cinema. He was great in the role. I totally see him as Penguin. He's essentially Robert De Niro, but as the Penguin, and I love that. He hit the comedic beats when he needed to, and I love how he was serving under Carmine Falcone, but by the end of the movie, because of the whole flood situation, he is now in power. Like, he has the ability and the advantage to take power and become the Penguin we know the character to be, and we're getting a solo show with him, which I'm super excited about. It's probably going to be rated R, so that's hype. And I can't wait to see the character continued. John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. I mean, he's the best Falcone that we've had. You know, there's only been one, I believe, in Batman Begins, but John Turturro, very good in this role. Finally, Paul Dano as Riddler. I loved him. I thought he was an amazing villain with great character development. You understood why he wanted to expose the corruption. You understood why he looked up to Batman. Batman basically brought the Riddler into existence, and I found that very fascinating. Paul Dano was creepy. He was over the top in some scenes, but I totally dug it. He was a great Riddler. You know, he has an innocent face, but he's a psychopath underneath. That's just great casting. Lastly, we gotta talk about that scene. Barry Keoghan confirmed to play the Joker. I love seeing that reveal, how we were all led to believe he was playing Stanley Merkel. None of those quote-unquote scenes were in the movie. It was a misdirect. He was playing Joker all along. I thought that was genius, and I like him. I think he looks good from what we see. The laugh, I think I still need to get used to, but for a young Joker, yeah, I think he's very good casting, and I cannot wait to see him in a sequel. Very interesting to see where Matt Reeves takes the Joker as a character. I'm super fascinated, but that was a dope scene. But yeah, that was my spoiler review. I adore this movie. It is my favorite comic book movie of all time, aside from Spider-Man 2. I just think Matt Reeves is such a fan of the character, and you can clearly tell that from this movie. It was just a blast from start to finish. It was super interesting, super engaging, great character development. I love that we got a definitive Batman, how Batman was portrayed in the shadows. I love the criminals being visibly afraid of him, like we saw the bat signal and the criminals fleeing away, because he's that scary to them. I love that. I love the cinematography. I love the music. I love the acting. I absolutely love Robert Pattinson in the role. He's my favorite Batman, and his Batsuit is actually my favorite after watching this movie. I adore Ben Affleck's because it's comic accurate to a T, but this Batsuit, I love how there are like gadgets embedded within it. It's very practical, and I love it. I just adore this movie. This is the Batman movie I've been wanting. For the majority of the screen time, we see Batman in the Batsuit. Like, we're promised the Batman, and we're delivered it. And I love that. Matt Reeves is a fan directing this film, and it was amazing. It was damn near a masterpiece. I have a couple gripes, but they're so minimal. They're not even worth talking about, really. I said one with more Alfred and the more in-depth relationship with Alfred, and also a little more Bruce Wayne, just to see that side of him. But besides that, this movie is fantastic. I mean, I cannot praise it enough. I can't wait to see more of this world, sequels, spin-offs. Give it all to me. I'm so excited for Matt Reeves to continue this world. DC, you've been on a winning streak so far. Keep it up, because you got something special here. So that was my spoiler review of The Batman. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think this is the best Batman movie yet, or is The Dark Knight still reigning supreme for you? Very curious to see what you guys think about this movie. I loved it. I really loved it. It's my favorite comic book movie ever made, besides Spider-Man 2. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That'll be all for me. Remember my catchphrase, guys. Stay super wise.